We're back, Tony. There's some drama in Kansas City. And who better to talk about drama in Kansas City than two salty, sad Chargers fans? We'll talk this Mahomes meltdown, as they're calling it. I think we both have interesting perspectives on this because we've watched a shit ton of sports. We've seen a shit ton of superstars get mad in games before, and we both kind of have a perspective of the difference between this and others. But what was your instant reaction when he saw Mahomes having to be held back by four people? My first reaction was, you guys are weak because he's getting through you. He's getting through all of you. And he's supposed to be the quarterback.
Yeah, I thought a lot of those guys need to get in the gym and really get with the strength coach and start bulking up. I mean, come on, guys. You can't hold back Patrick Mahomes. I think a lot of the memes and videos that have been sent to me, the whining and stuff, my immediate reaction was funny, a little bit of joy, right? Because we, as fans outside of it, and Chiefs fans, don't I get it. You guys are fantastically great. Your organization is tremendous and you got the best player in the game and all those wonderful things. So when bad shit is going your way, it kind of makes me laugh a little bit and it makes me happy. I'm not going to lie. Like call me a hater, whatever you want. I'm watching it and going, this, Mike, and this is really my thought overall on it. This is not about the ref screwing him over, like, in that moment, which I do kind of like I lean on the side that the Chiefs got screwed in this situation, but, like, to me, this was him not airing the frustrations with the receivers, with, who is it? Brett Veach, the GM, and saying, like, "This receiving core is not gonna cut it." Him saying this hurts Travis Kelce, it's not the refs, it's the other wide receivers on the team that are not helping out him and Travis in this that are not helping out him and Travis and Pacheco and even Jerick McKinnon, who I'm not quite sure why he's not being used more in this team. Like, the screen game was unreal with him last year. Like, I know it's not injury, they haven't talked about that at all this year. Like, he just doesn't seem to be, you know, worked in the same way that he was last year. But I thought that this was him indirectly unloading all of this frustration that he's been carrying around all year at his own team. And he finally was like, I'm going to direct this somewhere. I'm going to put this in a direction because, like, people comparing and saying what he did was poor sportsmanship or whatever. Like, if you've ever competed in anything, moments like this happen. I've smashed tennis rackets over tennis matches that didn't mean shit, like, for nothing because I was pissed off, I was competing, and I lost, and I afterwards wish that I wouldn't have acted the way I would have acted, but, like, you do things in the heat of the moment, and especially if you're competing at that level in front of millions of people, and you know that the internet is gonna come for you, like, you you're just in a blind rage. So, like, I'm let him off the hook for any of that stuff. If it were to happen every week, that's one thing. But he's allowed an outburst. He's allowed a game where it looks like he's being a poor sport. So, like, to me, again, this wasn't about Carl Cheffers or the refereeing or whatever. This was about MVS, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Justin Ross getting arrested and kicked off the team. They spent time investing in him, working with all this stuff, and then he gets himself in trouble. Like, this is about the frustration that he's dealing with in his own building. But to be a really good teammate, he couldn't just go in there and say, "What is wrong with all of you guys? Get your shit together. We're trying to win a Super Bowl."
Yeah, and I think the Chiefs, if they weren't in the market last year, they're definitely be in the market this year. Looking at receivers, especially in the draft, I'm sure they want to save money in on it. But I have that written down here in my notes as well, Tony. Is he just frustrated with what's going on during the season? And it kind of all piles up when your fucking airhead wide receiver one lines up even questionably. Like, you should be like double, triple confirming with the game on the line that you're lined up on the line. And there is video of him pointing at the ref. But I've seen it so many times in all my years of playing and watching football where they point at the ref and the ref doesn't say anything back. That means that you're not good. That means that you are going to get a flag. I bet you he pointed at the ref because the ref didn't tell him that he's offsides. He didn't think to go, I need to take a half step back before this play starts. Again, it's super ticky tacky when you look at it. He's literally like his helmet is just barely hanging over the line to gain. So
Well,
it's
his foot is all the way in the area. He's blocking the ball. Like
yeah,
it's bad alignment. So several things have come to light. Like Dan Orlovsky came out and said he was offsides, lined up offsides 4 times before they finally threw that one. That's the kind of shit I don't like. If you didn't call it the first 4
yeah.
times, you can't call it on time number 5. And that's the bottom line, is that he was offsides. If you saw it happen once, you go to the sideline and you say, "Hey, we didn't call it in that moment, but if we see that shit again, he's getting flagged for that." That's fine. You
And
should do that.
boom.
And I think that's the warning. Like that's the other thing is people are like, "He should get a warning." No, they shouldn't give warnings. It's like, listen, we cannot have a stoppage every single play watching the NFL. So if a guy is 3 inches offsides in quarter number 1, don't throw the flag, but then go over and find the OC or the head coach or fucking wide receiver coach and say, "Hey, 19 needs to watch where he's lining up. He needs to get on sides. He needs to be in the right spot in that location so they can have it there." Like to know that he was offsides that many times. Let's say they didn't notice it 2 out of the other 4 times. They had to notice it at least
Just
twice,
once.
especially if it was
Yeah.
egregious to where the official saying he was blocking the ball. I couldn't see the ball. I had to throw the flag.
Yeah, at that point. And that's where people wonder. That's where people wonder. Do they know he's lining up offsides? And you wait until the moment that's going to help Josh Allen sneak into the playoffs to make it more entertaining than Gardner Minshew or Jake Browning or fill in the blank back quarterback making the playoffs. That's where people start to question it. They start to go, "Whoo, what the fuck is going on?" But the whole thing with like Mahomes and the media overreaction and everything, I think it's an overreaction. Like for example, I saw a post from I forget who it was, but it's one of the really strongly opinionated media members that's on ESPN. I don't watch the shows anymore because it's tough for me to watch knowing that they're kind of acting like it's hard. But anyways, I think that they were overreacting. They were saying like, "Oh, I've lost all this respect for Mahomes. What a terrible sport." He's yelling at Josh Allen about the bad call after the game, and I'm like, "You do realize that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are good friends, right?" Like they can have a conversation about the game and go, "Man, what about that call? That's crazy." And even there's another clip that came out of Josh Allen talking to Travis Kelsey saying, "Yeah, that was that was a crazy call. Like I don't know what just happened, but we'll take it." Type situation.
So,
So they're overreacting for sure. It's a very competitive individual. I've seen Tom Brady do this a bunch of times, a bunch of times.
yeah, there's every great player, even mediocre players, you can go find moments where they weren't their best. Like that just happens. When you're competing, when you're arguing, when whatever's happening, like you're just not at your best. And you would hope that he would learn from this and that this will never happen again. The likelihood is he will end up in another game that means a lot to him and something bad, an outcome not in his favor will happen and he'll have another meltdown. And that is understandable. Brady did this kind of shit a lot. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, doesn't like Tom Brady and takes any chance he can to get a dig at him because when Ryan Fitzpatrick finally beat Tom Brady in a game, Brady didn't even come to midfield and shake his hand, and he still hangs on to that. And it's like that's poor sportsmanship. You have to go meet your competitor. It's just an understood thing about the game. Coaches go, QBs go. You go meet your position on the other side. Good game. How are you? How's the family? All that bullshit, no matter what, because at the end of it, it is just a game. So, like, saying you're losing respect for Patrick Mahomes, that's just you trying to make sure that you get clipped up and go viral on the
Exactly.
internet. Like, the guy's done so many great things and seems to be an excellent husband and father and whatever, and you're losing respect for him because in the heat of a moment where he's trying to get shit to go right for him, like trying to get this offense going, they finally hit a big play against a big team in what is considered like the best rivalry right now is Allen Mahomes, and that's how the game is going to end
Yep.
on a play that should have been called in the second or third quarter so that Tony would have hopefully not done it again in the fourth quarter. The checking in with the ref thing again, to me, it's like now all of a sudden it gets kind of weird because is the defense going to do that too? Are we going to have several players next year on the defense and offensive side? Thumbs up. Am I
That's what I'm
on
saying.
sides? Like,
It is
I
weird.
don't, I don't
It's a
want that
weird
shit.
situation. Yeah, it's a weird situation because technically the defense player can ask the ref if he's offsides. He can look over and do it, but defense players don't ever do it because you don't know when the ball's going to be snapped. You might be looking over here like a dumbass, and the ball gets snapped, and the receiver just takes off on you.
Another great point that I heard is Nick Wright, who's a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan.
He
He
calls Mahomes the king and Trevor Lawrence the prince or some crazy shit.
Yeah, yeah. I actually like Nick Wright. I think he does entertainment, sports entertainment right. I think he's
Yeah.
funny and he's antagonistic and jovial about it. What he said that was interesting was they claim that there's an emphasis on this new call, right? Lining up on sides. The problem is that while they've called it 11 or 12 times this year, 8 of those penalties have come on the tush push with offensive linemen lining up to try and gain an advantage in that situation. It's not been in regular
Yeah.
formation. It had only been called 2 other times this year. So it's not like there's been this crazy emphasis on it. And then the next night, I get a text message from somebody where they're like, look, Jalen Waddle is doing the same thing and he's offsides in a game against the Titans and they didn't call it. So it's clearly not a crazy emphasis on it, or maybe they got the warning. Maybe they came and said, hey, Jalen Waddle's offsides on this. So like I didn't lose any respect for Patrick Mahomes. I still think seems to be a tremendous person, husband. All of those things I thought about him before and hope that are true about him. Obviously, don't know him, never met him, but I hope all
Yeah.
those things are true about him. And yeah, the thing that pisses me off the most is that the Chiefs are just good this year. They're not even great. And the Chargers are in last fucking place.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
the thing that's most aggravating. In a year where the Chiefs could have got, we
Got.
can't get shit. We can't got nothing.
Well, the Broncos are right on their tails, but I think the Chargers actually have the AFC West in their hands, Tony. It's in a different way. I mean, it's in a different way. It's like we could either lose to the Broncos and beat the Chiefs and send the Broncos, or we could beat the Broncos and lose to the Chiefs and send the Chiefs.
Technically, Mike, with that loss, the Chargers still could win the AFC West. If
Oh
they
my
win
God.
out and all of these other teams lose out, Easton Stick will hoist the AFC West champion.
There's my next 1% TikTok video right there. There's a 1% chance that the Chargers can still win the Super Bowl. Anyways,
Well,
also,
hey, don't be crazy. I'm just talking about winning the
just
AFC
the
West.
division. We're talking about just
Yeah.
winning the division. That's not crazy at all. But yeah, and even talking about other players, LeBron James does this multiple times a game in the NBA. Multiple times a game.
Yeah,
So
the NBA has different theatrics, right? Luka
yeah,
Doncic has calmed down a little bit. He used to just lose his mind on every play. He'd make a basket, he'd freak out. He'd not make a basket, he'd freak out. He'd be on the sidelines like drinking water, freaking out. So he's gotten better. I think everybody wants people to react like Kawhi Leonard and Tim
yeah,
Duncan, or
it's
just
stone
like very
cold.
stoic guys, like even Joe Flacco, like everybody just wants everybody to be like, well, I'm just going to take it in stride and we did our best and here it goes. It's like, no, you've put in so much time, sacrifice away from your family, sacrifice with your body through injury, through workout,
Yeah.
through all this bullshit.
You don't want
And
to get
then
fucked.
that's how the game ends. I can't believe I'm defending the Chiefs, but like,
Me too.
that's
You got
bullshit.
Chargers fans. Yeah, Chargers
That's
fans here defending the Chiefs, but I am enjoying all the memes. They're hilarious, and
Oh, yeah. My wife
I
showed me
like
one
the
of him as a
negativity
baby
sometimes.
the other day, and I was like,
What?
"Can you get this framed for my wall back here? Can this be a
There,
Christmas present for me?"
there was one that said it was leaked audio from the sideline when Mahomes had his outburst, and it was just a baby crying. And then there was another one where, it was he was just mad that I forgot they changed it up where he wasn't mad about a call, he was mad about something else. I forget what it was, but yeah, all the memes were hilarious. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're funny to watch and
Yeah,
thumb through.
I think you sent me the Kermit one. Yeah. Um, Yeah, it was good. It was a good time to be had by all, and that's ultimately what this is, entertainment. So,
Oh, the dodgeball scene. The dodgeball scene. We gotta do a movie reference, Tony, since we're here.
what if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball?
Oh, there's a scene in dodgeball where the referee makes a questionable call and he's like arguing back and forth with one of the players.
Oh yeah, with White Goodman. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know his
Um,
name. Anyways, appreciate you guys tuning in. You got Chargers fans here saying that people are overreacting, so people are probably overreacting. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on the Patrick Mahomes meltdown, as we're calling it for this video. I'm sure the Chiefs are gonna bounce back and torture me for another 10 years, so don't you guys worry. It's just 1 week. Let us enjoy 1 week of negativity sent their direction.
yeah. Screw you, Chiefs.
Screw you guys.